Inside Anfield, there is a rhythm of its own, made of rumours, expectations and dreams. As if every corner of that stadium breathed past stories, while anticipating the ones yet to come. Even when everything seems calm on the surface, the tide of possibilities never stops moving. And now, in the heart of 2025, a quiet question has begun to circulate among analysts, supporters, and even a few former players. Who would take charge of Liverpool the day Arne Slot decides to bring his cycle to an end? Not because there is a crisis, not because Slot is under threat, not because any rupture is looming, but because football is made of cycles, and no one, absolutely no one, escapes time. The truth is that Slot arrived at Liverpool at a delicate moment, carrying a heavy yet thrilling inheritance. He took over a squad that had been dismantled and rebuilt within the same summer, like a giant puzzle where several old pieces had been taken away and new, dazzling ones arrived without a clear place to fit. The club spent heavily, that is undeniable, but it also let go of important pillars. The end result was a squad with tremendous potential but zero chemistry, something no manager, no matter how brilliant, can fix overnight. It is easy to forget that Liverpool is, in practice, undergoing a profound reconstruction. The players are still getting to know each other, the dynamics are still being tested, the roles are still taking shape. Slot is trying to do everything at once: create identity, adjust tactics, develop talent, maintain competitiveness, manage expectations, and still lead emotionally a group that has experienced intense change. And that requires time, it requires understanding, and above all, it requires patience. Something that, let's be honest, is rarely present among supporters of massive clubs. That is why the word transitional, so hated in modern football, might be the most honest way to describe the moment. This season, whether people like it or not, is not about immediate trophies. It is about deep foundations. It is about preparing the ground. It is about taking a step back so that in the coming years, the club can take giant leaps forward. And interestingly, it mirrors many historical chapters at Anfield, periods in which great managers began with turbulence before becoming legends. But no matter how well any project goes, the moment always comes when a manager feels his journey is complete. Klopp felt it, Rafa Benitez felt it, Houllier felt it, even Shankly felt it, though many never truly recovered from his farewell. With Slot, it will be no different. He is writing his story now, but no one knows where it ends. And that is precisely why the most attentive eyes have already begun searching the future. And what if that future has the face of an idol? Someone who knows the club not only from the pitch, but from its very soul.
This is where Craig Bellamy, surprisingly and yet logically, becomes a name impossible to ignore. For many, he was never just another player who wore the red shirt. He was a symbol, a character full of intensity, emotion, unpredictability, and epic moments. His goal against Barcelona lives eternally in the memories of supporters who witnessed that night. His inspired performance against Manchester City in the League Cup semi-final paved the way for a title that brought relief and joy during difficult times. Bellamy was pure electricity, and that electricity connected directly to the energy of the fans. But what few imagined is that, after hanging up his boots, Bellamy would dive into the tactical world with such focus and discipline. He became a coach. He studied, he observed, he worked as an assistant in complex projects, and finally, he took charge of the Wales national team. It was then that his image, already admired, began to transform into something greater. The image of a modern, strategic manager surprisingly ahead of his time. Wales's performance under Bellamy was, for many experts, one of the biggest revelations in recent European football. He raised the team's level quickly and decisively. He secured promotion in the Nations League, placed Wales back on the radar of major competitions, and led them to the brink of another World Cup appearance, precisely at a time when the squad was at its most fragile after the Bale era. And that success is not just about results, it is about philosophy. Bellamy implemented an aggressive modern playing model based on intelligent possession and coordinated pressing. The 67% average possession in the qualifiers is not just a statistic, it is proof of a team that controls territory, dictates rhythm, dictates behaviour, dictates the game. Those are numbers worthy of giant national teams, not of a side that, in theory, should be fighting merely to compete. And the PPDA data, which placed Wales among the top 4 in Europe for defensive intensity, shows that the team does not only play beautifully, it suffocates, presses, disrupts, and turns opponents into hostages. And if you are a Liverpool supporter, you have probably already noticed the pattern. This is exactly how the club wants to play. Post-2015 Liverpool was built on this philosophy. Klopp pushed it to its extreme. Slot is trying to adapt it with intelligence and method, and Bellamy appears to be a natural heir to this school. Someone who understands the importance of aggressive football, rapid transitions, organised pressing, dominant possession, and above all, the development of young players. His bet on Dylan Lawler, for example, is already considered one of the greatest recent successes in Welsh football. Beyond all of this, there is an emotional factor that weighs heavily. Bellamy loves Liverpool. Not as an employee, not as a former player, but as a supporter. Since childhood, he knows the mystique, the atmosphere, the pressure, the wholehearted commitment that Anfield demands. He understands the weight of the stands, the meaning of "you'll never walk alone" echoing on Champions League nights, and the emotional impact of wearing the red shirt. This cannot be taught, it is lived.
And perhaps it is precisely this combination, technique, modernity, intensity, results, identity, and emotion, that makes Bellamy such an enticing name for a future Liverpool. He represents continuity of the modern style, renewal of energy, and at the same time a reconnection with the emotional roots of the club. The curious thing is that even without being an official candidate for anything, his name is growing. Growing in the corridors, growing among the most romantic supporters, growing among the most modern analysts, growing because there is something about him that feels inevitable. Not now, not tomorrow, not while Arne Slot is still building his legacy, but one day. One day, when Anfield once again opens its doors to a new commander, many will believe that Craig Bellamy will be there, not as a former player, not as a distant memory, but as a leader, a strategist, the next great manager in Liverpool's history. And when that day arrives, perhaps many will look back and say that all of this had already been written, as if Bellamy's entire journey from his first goal for Liverpool to his career as a coach had always been pointing towards this destiny.